It's Dumb Guy Live. How's it going,
Yeah.
everybody? Yeah, Dumb Guy Live. Dumb Guy Live 40. Actually, you know what? You know what happened? Boss Man didn't update the title of the number last time. I think it's actually 46. So big problem. Murph left. All right, cool. Good. Glad Murph was on the show for that little moment. I'm glad he was able to stop by, give us his thoughts. But yeah, we'll see. Oh no, he connected there.
Sorry for the quick delay. Oh,
Murph, how's it going today?
it's a great day to be alive. The sun's still shining when I close my eyes.
Are you rapping Craig Morgan right now?
It's Travis Tritt.
Oh, is it Travis Tritt? Oh, you know what? I'm thinking of What I Love About Sunday by Craig Morgan.
Sunday's a good, but you know, it's the Steelers suck, but Trent Alexander-Arnold is like the greatest person ever to be made. And no offense, Jamie, he's the greatest man to ever come out of Liverpool. So you know, I'm sorry about that.
What happened to the Seminoles? What happened to Florida State?
Well, just like they told my UCF Knights back in 2017, FSU, you should join a better conference.
You sound so hurt. All right.
No, I'm a UCF. I don't like FSU.
You've renounced your FSU fandom?
Yeah, when I got a letter from them saying they wanted me to spend the whole summer there, I was like, "Fuck you."
All right, valid. Yeah, we out here, folks. We are doing the thing. We're doing the show. I was making myself laugh the other day about because I'm not like super intentional about being a podcast host or whatever, right? Like some people like put a lot of effort into it, which is like they'll do what they want. But I was like, have you ever like listened to like some? This is like kind of mean spirited, but like some pathetic just like guy doing a podcast for like literally nobody, and it's like about nothing, and it's like I don't know what you're trying to get out of it. He's like, but they all have like the same tone of voice. They're like,
yeah, I heard.
What are we going to talk about today? And it's all just like stuff.
That's how we should start.
Yeah.
No, I was listening to a motorsports podcast like recently, and it was like and this guy was just like had the most boring voice, but he's exactly what you like. He's like, "Ooh, what's on the docket today?"
I'm like, God. Oh man, if you I don't know, if you don't have at least, hold on, let me check, 15 people watching your podcast right now, just quit, give up. That's no, I'm just kidding. All right.
And by the way, thank you for watching last week. We had 100 watching.
Yeah, we hit triple digits last week. That was pretty sweet. And it was all due to me recapping the first night of the DDT DO Grand Prix.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna take credit for that one. I think I kind of clutched up that day.
Well, that was, you did have it. I mean, you definitely didn't turn anyone away. That's for sure.
No, you know, they tell me all the time, "You're doing too much. You're doing too much." Well, I was just doing just enough, I feel like.
Yeah, you were awesome last week. Sometimes you do too much, though, and I let you know. I mean, there was one moment where you did too much last week. What is he talking? But
Dumb Guy Live on.
All right, cool. Yes, Solid Snake Guy Live. That's me. And we got Peach, and we got Adam. We got the motherfucking crew. We got Triple L. I love it. This makes me very happy. I love our people. I love our fans. Murph appears to have gotten into a vehicle. I don't know.
This is very Manny Pill podcast.
Yeah, this is very Manny. Murph, I can't hear you, so sort it out is my recommendation. Okay, cool. Anyway.
What is that?
It should be good.
Welcome
now.
To Can
you hear me now?
Okay.
The most professional. The most professional of all the podcasts.
We're called dumb for a reason.
Well,
you know, I feel like I'm on my Kevin Owens element. You know, I'm a big guy living in Central Florida. I'm just Kevin Owens, to be honest with you.
Well, the whole point of the dumb guy. Well, obviously, you know, a good portion of our listenership, but I think there are a lot of people who don't know where the dumb guy thing came from. Was like, you know, 2021 or 2022 more like, I guess.
It was 22.
Yeah. When like spaces were getting kind of popular, there were a lot of people who were trying to have like intellectual ass discussions on like Twitter Spaces,
Mhm.
things like that, and I was just like I wanted to do a space because I think they're fun, but I didn't want people to think that I was like trying to like be intelligent or be like have any sort of insight to say on anything. So I called it a dumb guy chat, and they got very. We've had multiple dumb guy chats hit like over 200 listeners on Twitter. We get lots of AEW wrestlers burners who listen and are cowards and will never come on, except for Daniel Garcia, who comes on, every once in a while. But anyway,
He's still mid, even though he's in our spaces. He's still mid. Don't let my my biases, change that. No, he's still very much mid.
all right. Well, in any case, I love the dumb guy chats. We do those every once in a while. Yeah. See, Peach knows the history of the Frank Ocean profile photo. Yeah, exactly. Okay, but anyway, that was like, what if we we didn't even plan the first show, did we, Jamie? It was like that week. But Monty was like, you want to do the fucking show, lads? And I think we were like, sure. And they were like, what do you call it? Like dumb guy live.
I think I coined dumb guy live. I think that was me. But a little known thing was the show was originally just supposed to be me and Parker, but Monty was like, "Hey, can you have Jamie on?" We didn't know. I didn't really know Jamie at this point. He was just, Wrestle Pierce was just starting. Like I didn't really know Jamie, so I was like pretty interested. And honestly, I'm so happy Monty did that because, me and Parker just blabber on. We need Jamie who's like a normal wrestling fan and not like a freak like me and Parker. There's a college football podcast called the Sickos Committee, and me and Parker are the Sickos Committee of wrestling. We're just straight fucking sickos, and Jamie's like kind of normal, so he actually helps with the podcast even more than you even know.
This is not to be confused with the type of people on Twitter who are like, "Oh, this match is for the sickos."
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. It's like a pretty well, I don't know. I think a lot of people probably like whatever match you're talking about.
Yeah.
Or we've been talking about this whenever people are like, "This match is so me coded." This match was booked for me, folks. And it's like Eddie Kingston versus Claudio Castagnoli or something. I'm like,
this was booked for most people.
I think they probably booked it to put it on TV so that people would watch it. But to be honest with AEW, sometimes I'm not so sure.
There's only one time I've ever said that Adam Cole versus Christian Cage was like so
yeah, that's true. That's very.
I did say like this was for me because like most like at this point, this is when Christian Cage was just like not really much like in AEW. Like he was just like kind of doing his outwork everyone thing, and he was like a manager for Jungle Boy basically. And then I said like, oh my god, they're booking this for me. But that honestly, I've kind of evolved since then. I was kind of soy and cringe back in the day, and now I'm just like a well-rounded person.
We got a $5 super chat from Anwar Starwind. Anwar, one of our most reliable super chatters. We love you, Anwar. Hi, DGL. Murph's dead weight AEW cross-off meme was hilarious. The good vibe is returning with Stardom for me. For all of those injuries sucked. Anwar is referring to the
one down.
the graph of like 8, 1 down, 7 to go of all the. I guess we'll say punk affiliates.
I thought you were gonna kill me.
No, it was funny. I don't fuck CM Punk. He can die for all I care.
No, what's it called? Like that's like, and then I posted the what's it called, the AI stuff.
Yeah, I did have to be clear that it was you who posted that. Like that was just what I wanted to, because I like to curate. Like I hate making enemies. I don't like it when people don't like me or dumb guy live or whatever. I'm just I don't have time for that. I'm too jobbed to do that. So
I enjoyed the tweet. I enjoyed the tweet about who tweets what on the account. That's good. Yeah, that's a good bit of
that was pretty
insight.
Yeah, it's pretty
I do pray for Locust to go after Dex Harwood. That is something I say all the time. My favorite thing last night is AEW, and quick before we get into the Puro, but AEW Collision, they were comping tickets to college kids last night. My friend's up in Erie and he goes to college there, and he was like, I'm sitting with a bunch of weird wrestling fans, can you give me shit to say? And I sent him like, oh, I hate those FTR guys. I wish they went to WWE with Ricky Starks for CM Punk. And then the guy dapped him up, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have a field day tonight. I was having so much fun just sending him shit. But then he asked me who CM Punk was, and I said, a job guy who got fired by AEW. And then he was like, okay. So then he starts chanting, fuck CM Punk, and he got kicked out.
Wow. Cool.
So
I'm gonna try to go to Raw in 2 weeks. I low key hope Punk is there. I'm gonna boo the shit out of him.
I'm going to the Royal Rumble, and so you know.
Ooh, he's going to the Rumble. Where?
What?
Where's it gonna be?
It's in Tampa.
Ooh, is it at Raymond James?
Nah, it's at the Tropicana Field.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, my little brother's flying down. We're going to the Rumble. 10 years since I was at the Rumble last, and I'm just gonna boo the shit out of Punk. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I did the same thing in Toronto. That was really fun, booing the shit out of Punk in Toronto.
Looking forward to it. That'll be good. That'll be good. I always love the Rumble. Like WWE can go out of business.
The Rumble's
and all that,
the best pay-per-view.
But
Yeah,
I do love the Rumble.
The-
Man, the
the
Rumble this year
Rumble
was
has
so
my,
good. The Rumble this year was
yeah.
awesome with Gunther and Cody. It was really good.
My favorite part
I
about
think
the
they're gonna run
Rumble,
it back this
actually,
year.
it's even the show.
Ooh.
It's the podcast the next day with Mark, Brian Alvarez.
Oh yeah,
Mark.
the Brian and Vinny and Mark. It's like
It's the
fucking
greatest
watch
podcast
the
of the year,
Rumble.
every year.
Yeah,
I
Brian.
fucking love Mark.
Gotta love.
Did you
Mark.
see Alvarez's Sports Illustrated article where he said me and my friend Mark were watching Survivor Series, but like it was actually Mark, but he started with me and my friend Mark. We're watching Survivor Series.
That's funny. All right, shall we get on to the content, folks?
Yeah, let's do it. Might as well.
Some would argue we're the content, but I don't know. I don't have that high of an opinion of myself. So yeah, let's get on with it. Let's start. What? All right. let's start with let's go to the arc. Let's go to Pro Wrestling Noah here. Sorry, as I was saying that, I was making myself laugh because I sounded like the like waffling, yapping podcast. What? Let's go to the arc, folks, and let's talk about Ibushi. Some week we should just like troll and be like really shitty and off-putting.
Parker, you sounded real snooty there. It's almost like a sort of wrestling snob.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, I would say like Ibushi or something like that because he straight up can't pronounce anything right. Mayu Itani. Yeah, so anyway, big exciting stuff out of Noah. Kota Ibushi, all right. Modern legend, just signed with AEW, by the way. Shows up in Pro Wrestling Noah this weekend and challenges well, see, I didn't actually get the whole details around it because I've been kind of checked out of Noah for a while. But did he lay down the challenge? You did?
Yeah.
So did he lay down the challenge for Marufuji, or was it the other way around?
Marufuji was out and Ibushi came out.
Okay.
And Ibushi's music hit. He walks through, gets in the ring, set up the match.
Okay. All right.
I love Ibushi's new music. Ibushi's new music is so sick. It's just like a better version of his. When I watched the clip and I was like, damn, and it said AEW Kota Ibushi, and I was like, fuck yeah. Like that's the kind of shit that just gets me going. Fuck you, Punk.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't care about that. But
that's what he tried to take away from us. Shit like that. AEW in the arc, man.
Yeah, I kind of don't give a shit about that part of it, but I mean, obviously the big news is that Kota Ibushi, for the first time in a decade, is going to be wrestling in Pro Wrestling Noah. He's going to be wrestling against Naomichi Marufuji, obviously another like modern legend, in the main event of the Ariake show on January, I believe, 2nd next year. So obviously big implications for bringing Ibushi in. Let's talk about that aspect first, and then we can talk a little bit about maybe what else it means for the promotion. As you know, there's obviously other big stuff on the card. The New Year's show for Noah has become their biggest show of the year generally. So Jamie, just what do you think about Ibushi showing up?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I mean, I think when we got the news that he'd signed with AEW, This was kind of what I kind of imagined his kind of deal to be. I thought he'd be able to kind of like freelance around a little bit. So this is kind of not surprising that he's rocked up in NOAH. But in terms of the match itself, obviously it's two of the biggest stars currently wrestling today in Japan. I think it was Ash who said kind of we're going to see who's more washed, which is a pretty I like that. I guess we'll see. Ibushi's current his return run hasn't been the best. He hasn't got off to the best run of form. I think obviously he's had a lot of injury problems, and he's been sick as well for a little portion of it. But we'll see how he gets on here. But I think just kind of the visual of him being in NOAH, and I think for certain people in NOAH, we kind of saw it with Nakamura when he rocked up at the start of the year. Some people just bring the vibes, and that carries them enough. In NOAH, I mean, they have great production. Everything seems to look great on these big shows. So I think that's going to help Ibushi. It'll make him feel like a big deal. But it's going to be an interesting one to see how it plays out. See if it goes anything bigger than just kind of like a one-off. But yeah, interesting stuff.
Ibushi has something that Marufuji does not, which makes Marufuji seem a lot more washed. Ibushi has aura still. He has aura around him. He's still fucking Kota Ibushi, rocking up. Marufuji, he looks like he's just trying his best. He doesn't really look the part. He wears this cool gear, but come on, he's old. Ibushi still looks like the fucking man. And honestly, I will say that Ibushi is not washed. He's just he's done 4 AEW matches since he's come back, and 2 of them were plunder matches, and the other 2, he was just a side, he wasn't the main character in it. So I think this will be a real test to see if Ibushi actually is washed. I don't think he is, personally.
Yeah, I think it's a big test for that too. I'm looking forward to this one quite a bit. I think Marufuji is nowhere near as good as he used to be, but I also think he had a really excellent match with Jake Lee just this year. He's been kind of good in tag situations recently. So I think he'll be
great match with Will too. But everyone
absolutely right.
Good.
Yeah, and it's the main event of Ariake, right? It feels like it's gonna be a big deal. They obviously booked it for a reason. They obviously have faith that it's gonna live up to expectations above what Kenno and Soya would do or something like that. So yeah, I mean, I'm optimistic about it, and I definitely agree with you, Murph. I think the jury is still way out on whether Ibushi can get back to form or not. He's had 2 singles matches. One was a complete was UWF light, and the other was against Joey Janela, right? Everything else he's done has been in at least a 6-man tag or perhaps more. So this is obviously a huge test. This is the first actual big singles experience we're gonna see from him.
Wait, Parker, I thought you were a fan of Joey Nutella.
I am a fan of Joey Janela, but Joey Janela is not in the main event of Ariake Arena and also a NOAH legend.
Kind of makes me mad that it's. I want it to be NOAH at Budokan is so much I get Ariake is new and nice, but it's why isn't it fucking Budokan, bro?
Yeah, the Budokan is such the way to go. I love the Budokan stuff.
That's my second favorite Japanese venue.
After Korakuen?
Definitely.
Oh no, you Osaka Joe Hall?
Yes, you got it. It's Osaka Joe or Kyoto.
This is a basic answer, but you just can't beat Korakuen for me. It's just love Korakuen.
I don't know. At this point, I'm kind of bored of Korakuen. I'm just
that's heresy, bro. We have a freaking.
It doesn't fill up like it used to. They don't fill Korakuen up to the brim like they used to. So it's not as fun.
You're watching the wrong promotions, bro. NOAH, New Japan still does. Stardom still does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
DDT and All Japan over the last decade have never consistently filled up Korakuen. Dragon Gate doesn't.
You don't know the feeling of natural vibes coming out and them just going fucking insane. You just don't have that anymore. You just don't have the fucking shit anymore. Fucking the Gong Kids. You just don't have that anymore. Just the aura.
Make sure you're speaking into your mic, by the way. Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I am kind of interested in the implications. We actually have most of the important card right now. I'm just gonna run through it. So obviously the biggest implication for the card is that the GHC Heavyweight Championship is not going to main event this show. Kenno is going to defend against Manabu Soya. And yeah, it will not be in the main event, which is really interesting. Kenno has had this arc of being like, you know, a few years ago, obviously it was Go Shiozaki who was doing like the I Am Noah stuff. And that's kind of been Kenno this year. He's been sick of Jake Lee, right? He disbanded Congo. He's pretty much babyface at this point. And he's also like still an incredible wrestler. He's still my favorite wrestler in the promotion. So I'm kind of interested in this too. What this means. Like Kenno always does a really good job of adding a little bit of extra like heat or outside, you know, like outside of the ring stuff implications to his matches by talking about like card placement and talking about outsider versus true Noah wrestler and all that. And I think it adds a lot of intrigue to his performances. But at the same time, you might argue maybe Manabu Soya shouldn't be in the main event of a big show like this. He hasn't really been pushed to that extent like ever in his career, in Noah at least. So yeah, what do you think about shuffling the card around, Jamie?
Yeah, it's kind of tough on Kenno. I mean, Noah haven't had really the best year, kind of, you know, post KG Muto. Obviously, you know, the Jake Lee title reign was kind of not the best reception to the fan base. It seemed like Kenno was the right guy to lead the promotion into the new year. So for him to kind of, you know, get stuck in co-main event in what's going to be the first huge show of the year is kind of a tough one for him. I'm a big Manabu Soya fan. He's my guy, but obviously he's not one of the, you know, the biggest names on the roster kind of thing. I think he's got the, you know, the skill set to be one of the top guys, but they've not, like you said, they've not fully built him up to that level yet. So it's understandable why it's not the, you know, the highest stakes title match that we've seen. But I tend to think that most title, you know, we had this discussion about Stardom with one of the past few pay-per-views. I think the big title matches should typically main event these shows unless there's something like genuinely huge. And I mean that's why obviously the Ibushi Marufuji match they've got to live up to the billing, right? When they step in the ring, hopefully they can deliver. But it's going to add the pressure on there. But yeah, I mean, hopefully Kenno's reign can kind of get off to a good start with this one, regardless of the card placements. And I hope Soya has a really good show because he's someone who I'd like to see get more and more of these opportunities as the year goes on.
The other matches that we have announced for this show,
I can't say my word. Damn.
Go ahead, Mervs.
I'm fucking around. Manabu Soya, he's a Wrestle One guy. You know I ride with my Wrestle One guys.
Love Wrestle
Very
One.
happy for him. Let's fucking get wild. I mean, he used to be the wild tag team. Let's fucking get wild. You know, let's have some fun. It reminds me of like WrestleMania 28, and I'm not comparing WrestleMania 28 with the grand, like the status with Noah and Ariake, but Rock and John Cena wasn't the championship match at that one, but it had the main event because it's Rock and fucking John Cena. And also, I'm not comparing Ibushi to The Rock or John Cena, but you know, that sometimes you just have to have the bigger match on last, or else you know you're just gonna burn out your fans for the main event. Another example of this going wrong for me is Super Card of Honor, when they did Kenny and Cody in the semi.
Yeah.
And then they did Marty and I think it's Dalton Castle in the main event. And what's it called? Yeah. And it just was in the wrong spot because, you know, Kenny versus Cody was this 35-minute like melodramatic match, and then you had fucking Dalton Castle in the next match. Like, what the fuck are you gonna do? So it's always, in my opinion, I think you should always put the best match on last, no matter what it is, whether it's a championship or whatever it is. The best match should always go on last.
And that's why I also think that like it's sort of contingent upon the promotion to actually push the best wrestlers and put them in positions to where they will draw to the point of like earning the main event slot, right? Like if Noah had pushed Manabu Soya over the course of this year to the point where he feels like a big time main eventer, obviously Kenno's earned that slot. Like nobody has a qualm with Kenno in the main event, but Soya, he just like hasn't, like he's been in Noah for almost 4 years now and he hasn't done anything like at all. He was, in fact, he was the designated like pin taker for Congo for a long time. So for him to be in this situation, like he's a great wrestler, he's a great in-ring performer, but I completely get the idea that people don't buy him in the main event spot. So I don't know. Anyway, this is what else we got on this card right now. We have, and this is not in order. This is just some stuff. They obviously haven't announced the exact order. They're debuting a new wrestler. Yuruka Sasaki's gonna wrestle Takashi Sugiura in his debut match. They have a Joshi match on tap. They have the Luminous tag team, Miyuki Takase and Haruka Umasaki taking on Nagisa Nozaki. And this was an interesting little thing they set up this week. They have Great Sayuka as well, which we don't even know who that is. So we'll kind of see what happens with that one. Noah has teased the idea of bringing out like a women's championship or something. So we'll see if that happens. Daga will defend the junior title against Eita. We have a really fun match.
That's gonna be boring.
No, I think it's gonna be it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Daga sucks, dude. He's so bad.
I like Daga. I don't know where the Daga hate comes from. I think Daga's good. Tag match, obviously all-star tag match. Well, 3 of them are all-stars. Tanahashi and Hayata against Zack Sabres Jr. and Yoshinari Ogawa. And then this should be a really fun spot fest 3-way tag match for the GHC Junior titles. Dragonbane and Alpha Wolf versus Ninja Mac and Alejandro versus Yohei and Tadasuke. So that's kind of the card that they have set up right now. Obviously, a lot of guys, like no tag match right now, no national title match, no Jake Lee right now, no Go, anything like that. So obviously a lot of stuff yet to be set up there. $4.99 super chat from the custodian Lexus King, the best facial hair in the game. Hi friends, hope y'all doing well. You're doing great, Lexus. I love seeing your face on Twitter every Tuesday. It's real nice to see what you got going on.
Lexus, I'm gonna need you to slide me that barber in Orlando. I need to get a fresh cut, and now I know where to go. So make sure you send me where you go. Thank you.
Jamie, what does Lexus King do on the show?
He's currently he's in the midst of this who attacked Trick Williams business with Carmelo.
Hold on, can I interrupt you real quick?
Go on.
NXT does so many fucking who attacked who, like someone like what? I don't watch the show, but that's like all I ever hear about NXT is like, who attacked
did
who?
you hear that the NXT parking lot's like really dangerous? Like people always get attacked in the NXT parking lot.
Yes,
bro.
it's like, to the point that it's even a meme. Like they got to be leaning into it. But anyway, continue.
There's no way I could believe that Lex King could beat up Trick Williams. Like I just can't believe that. Like Trick is just.
I don't know. Yeah, it seems kind of hard to believe.
Yeah, they had the
Trick,
They had the NXT Anonymous Twitter account, which is just I don't know. I don't know if there's ever like going to be a plan to reveal like what that is. But they had that show that it seemed like Lexus King jumped Trick Williams. So I don't know. But yeah, whatever.
Weird. Lexus King, huh? Who do you think attacked Trick Williams?
I mean, the evidence ain't looking good for Lexus King right now, but I'm not ruling out Carmelo Hayes. So
oh my gosh, if it was Mello, no,
not the
not Vinny Mello.
I think Mello fucking sucks. I think he's like so bad. Sorry
I would like to give a shout out to @Snowboy. We've had our differences on Twitter, but you had a great tweet this week saying that Mello was the worst wrestler on television. So shout out Snowboy. We've had our differences, but I like the tweet. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's good. I very briefly wanted to talk about. There was a big show for Pro Wrestling Noah yesterday, Yokohama Budokan. Jack Morris successfully defended the national title against Hajime Ohara. And then the main event was, I watched this and I really enjoyed it. This was like, you were talking about Aura earlier, Murph, when talking about Ibushi. This was a really just enjoyable, crowd-pleasing match that set up Kenno and Soya well. And that was Kenno teaming with one of his mentors, Jinsei Shinzaki, against Manabu Soya and the legend Tatsumi Fujinami. I thought this was so effective for what it was. And I have to shout out the commentary from Stuart Fulton, especially. I always listen to English commentary for for Pro Wrestling Noah shows. Like Pickering is like, he's like a weirdo on Twitter or whatever, but he is kind of like low key good at his job. I love the Noah English commentary, and they did such an excellent job laying out the story and the background and the interactions between these guys. And I think Stuart Fulton is like my favorite commentator in all of wrestling.
I agree.
He has,
I love him.
like, I love, well, it's great because he's not, you can tell he's not like a big wrestling fan, but he does his research. He works really hard to get across, you know, the stories that he feels like should get across. And his voice adds so much gravitas to situations. Like, he is the only commentator that I can ever think of that actually matches the style of the Japanese commentators, which I think is great. I love the Japanese commentary, how they're very muted, conversational at first. And then as the match builds and builds, they get way more excited and way more emotive. And Fulton does a great job. With that. So I just have to shout him out. I thought that he did a great job on commentary, and this match was really fun.
Yeah, I second everything you say about Stuart Fulton. He's been one of my favorites for a long time. I agree in the point that you kind of mentioned about how he kind of like builds with the match. Some of my favorite things about him. He used to do a couple of the Stardom shows as well. They've kind of pretty much stopped doing that. But you know, like you said, I always tune into NOAH with the English commentary from my boy Stuart Fulton. But yeah, good stuff.
All right, y'all.
English commentary in Japan is it's improved over the last couple of years. Jay Church is still the gold standard, but you know, Fulton's very good. I like Walker Stewart. He's actually been impressing me in his recent goes, and he'll get better as the time goes on. Kevin Kelly at the end was awful. Charlton's not good, but you know, English commentary as a whole is getting better.
I have never heard a second of Walker Stewart speak. I only ever listen to Japanese commentary from New Japan. I also think they have, like, obviously I don't speak Japanese, but they have a really good Japanese like crew. Whereas some of the promotions, they get kind of samey a little bit. And again, I'm sure part of it is that I don't speak the language, but yeah. Like I will never ever listen to. Yeah, it's Milano, right? He's like such a fucking beast, right? It's like it's crazy that in a different language you can immediately tell, like, who, like, it's Milano, right?
Yeah,
it's like him and like Hugo.
Wrestlers ever.
Yeah,
but like he has just like around him like the charisma you just can't like teach. Like that's just Milano.
Yeah, it's fucking Milano. It's like like, bro, I can't fucking listen to Balian Aki in my ears. Like, what? No, I'm not doing that shit. Sorry, I got things to do.
EDT has a lady that does their English commentary. She's awful, so bad, terrible.
Anyway, shall we move on from pro wrestling?
Takagi, if you're watching this, I will fly to Japan on my own dime and do your commentary. I will be your commentator, Takagi.
I would love to do commentary one day. I thought I'd be good at commentary. Well, I did when I was in college. I called basketball games on the radio, which was a lot of fun.
Gail Abrahamson of Drake Bulldogs, and then Duquesne Duke later.
That's a crazy shout out. Did you know he's like a scammer?
I wouldn't surprise me.
No, he did like Amazon fulfillment. This is like such in the weeds. He did like Amazon fulfillment stuff, and he has like this course that's like $2,000 that is like, I'm gonna teach you how to make millions with the Amazon fulfillment and all that type of stuff. And it's like a scam, and he's like he's like a bad guy. Anyway, I called
A10 basketball, whatever.
There's a big overlap between All Japan Pro Wrestling and the Saint Bonaventure Bonnies. So yeah, but
forsaken place. Olean fucking sucks.
Wow. All right. Sounds good. So all right, let's move on. Let's do a little bit of New Japan Pro Wrestling, folks. We got the World Tag League going on. To be honest, not a whole ton to report for me over the last week. I didn't watch every match, but I did watch a good portion of it. And it's been a lot of good matches and practically no great matches over the last week. Do you kind of feel the same way, Jamie?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think the one you kind of highlighted in your preview tweet a little earlier on today is the one that I was going to point out myself. You know, the Ren and Shota versus Kaito and Ryo Hoiwa has been probably my favorite over the last couple of days. But yeah, there's been a few standout tag teams in particular, but nothing like crazy in terms of the actual individual match quality.
Then I'm just going to say go straight into it, Jamie. Let's talk about the main event of, it was at Yokohama Budokan, was it something like that? I could be wrong there, but regardless, Ryo Hoiwa, Kaito Kiyomiya versus Shota Umino and Ren Narita. By the way, our thumbnail, Shota Umino. But yeah. Go into it, Jamie. Talk about that match.
Yeah, I love this one. I mean, this is 4 guys who are going to be like the future of this company, including Kaito. I mean,
including Kaito, yes.
Before he makes that switch, but this was great, super hard hitting. Everyone got their moment to shine. I think Ryo Hoiwa, since kind of moving over to NOAH and teaming with Kaito, he's really like coming to his own, and I don't think he looked out of place here, because obviously he's the least experienced of these guys. You know, he's in a class behind. You know, the 2 of the Musketeers. Kaito, obviously, the most experienced in there, but he didn't look, out of place at all. The kind of ending portion with him and Umino, I think there's a couple of big matches between those 2 down the line, which are going to be really good to see. But yeah, I mean, it was just super hard hitting. Everyone got their moments. It was just good stuff. It was kind of a glimpse into, years to come for New Japan, and it was good vibes. It was good vibes in this match.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. It was it was great. I just love, one of my favorite match styles is just getting young guys, like heated, motivated young guys in there and just having to beat the shit out of each other and go the entire match. Like, it was a good layout. Narita and Umino dominated the early portion of this match. They were just beating down the Oiwa especially. And it really it was really good, I think, just heat, like getting back to like basic match structure, to lead to the great closing stretch. Oiwa, what a revelation. Like, when he was a young lion, didn't really stand out to me, frankly.
No.
I just thought, he was good. He was technically sound, like all young lions, so I didn't think he was bad or anything. But compared to Nakashima, who I think is like actually low-key gonna be like an incredible brawler type, and Fujita, who has that really unique look to him that makes him stand out. Like Oiwa, I just thought he was just like, a good solid little wrestler. But as he's obviously gone to NOAH, been allowed to change up his gear, expand his moveset, team with one of the best wrestlers in Japan and Kaito Kiyomiya, I think he's been excellent. And he completely slots in with those other 3 guys like you're talking about, which is a big deal because all 3 of those 3 guys have world title aspirations in their future. So for him to be doing that a few years behind the experience curve, I think is really, really impressive. So yeah, big fan of Oiwa. Love the closing stretch, back and forth. Everybody's doing their best stuff, lots of big moves, all that type of stuff. It was, and the crowd, like, this was the most heated this tournament has been outside of the Korakuen shows. So yeah, I think there was a major success, and I think that this is an example of inspired booking that I really like seeing. Murph, did you watch this one?
I did not. No, I'm a bit behind on World Tag League, but from what I've watched, Gates of Agony look good. I think they've looked really good. I really like Kaito and Oiwa. Well, I think Oiwa was the guy personally. I think he's like the guy.
Wow.
Like even like I love Tsuji, I love Umino, I love Narita. I don't like the other one, but they're good. I think Oiwa might be the guy, like the guy. So that'll be interesting. I also like Monster Sauce. They've really amused me.
Yeah, they're a really fun team. And it's funny because I'm not really a big Alex Zane fan, but I think Monster Sauce.
Yeah. I've had fun.
Yeah, and I think they have an inside track to potentially winning their block, as I'll get into sort of the standings here. But Jamie, before I get into like the layout of this week, because we will have a week from today is the final, so we'll know the next time we pod who the tournament champ is. Anything else you want to shout out from the last week or so?
No matches in particular. I'll just kind of pretty much repeat what I pretty much said last week. Kind of the standout teams for me. The two we just mentioned have obviously been two of the highlights. The War Dogs, everything they do is always super intense. And yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed seeing a little bit more of Soberano and Atlantis in the last couple of shows. We kind of talked about last week that they their first couple of matches they didn't really feel like they were being highlighted enough, but I think they've kind of come into it a little bit more as the weeks have gone on. And then Suji and Zando can as well. I think those two have been fun to follow along with. But those are pretty much my highlights.
Icon's like, man, like I'm so with you. Like, holy shit,
he's
he's
so young. He's so young. Like he like people. I don't think people realize just how inexperienced this guy is. Like anybody who says that they were like a fan of his before this tour is like lying to you. By the way, like there's no shot. So yeah. So let's lay out the stand.
Like,
we only have one.
All the Mexico guys were like confused when Tsuji was teasing him because they're like, "What the fuck? Like this guy's getting a New Japan tour this early?
Sandokan,
like,
what in the world?
Like what?
Yeah,
it would be.
So,
it would literally be like if like fucking Brian Keith went onto the Super Juniors as a representative for AEW. Like it's just like a guy who's been around for like no time. Like it's like, bro, it's insane.
Okay, so Block A, we only have one more show. And it's a straight. There is a straight up block final. It'll be Haste versus TMDK, Haste and Nichols against the War Dogs to see who wins it. However, as I was looking at the lineup, I completely forgot that it's semis in this tournament. So obviously whoever wins that match is in. And then there's some stuff with Ishii and Yano. If Ishii and Yano win, they are in because they're taking on the War Dogs. If Ishii and Yano lose, well, actually, I think it's literally if Ishii and Yano win, they're in. If not, it's the two that are leading. So we'll see about that. I mean, it's okay. It's pretty disappointing that Umino and Narita aren't in contention, nor Kaito and Oiwa. I think they're far and away the most interesting teams in this block, in addition to the War Dogs, which I guess is good that they're in there, but I don't know. Obviously, something's going on with Umino. Like, you don't post that shit.
Yeah.
If there's not something happening, but yeah, he's really going through it, but we'll see. On the B block side, still pretty unclear who's going to come out on top on this one. I think I'm pretty confident that Monster Sauce is going to be one of the two teams that advances. And then it's looking like it could be one of either Taichi and Yuya Uemura, Hikuleo and Phantasmo, or Goto and Yoshihashi if they win out as well. It's kind of what it looks like to me. So, yeah. All right. Not a whole ton to report on the New Japan side, where it's obviously a bit of a lull heading into Wrestle Kingdom season. So let's move on then to World Wonder Ring Stardom, who had a pay-per-view yesterday from Nagoya at Aichi Prefectural Gymnasium. This show was notable. It didn't have that many like great matches or stellar stuff like that, but what it did do was do a nice job setting up the big stuff at the Dream Queendom show at the end of the year. So I'll let you take it away, Jamie. I have only seen the final 3 matches on this show. So anything before that, if you want to report, go ahead.
Yeah, so Nagoya big wins. I'll just kind of whiz through the kind of main matches. We don't need to go into like all the undercard stuff. We had the high-speed title match, Mei Seira with her first defense against Tekla. Is it her first? No, it's not her first defense. Second defense against Tekla. Yeah, she beat Hanazono, right? Yeah, and this was good stuff. I mentioned last week that I been waiting for Tekla to get a few more singles opportunities. Obviously, she's doing the trio stuff, but this was really good stuff. I mean, the high speed division isn't like the most stacked, you know what I mean? Especially with Azumi and Starlight Kid kind of moving away from it for a little bit. So I wouldn't be surprised if they eventually loop back to this, and I would like to see Tekla get a hold of this belt at some point. But this was good stuff, good high speed stuff. We had a UWF rules match with Nanae Takahashi and Scandinavian Hurricane, which is an interesting one. It wasn't as good as the one with Shuri. Nanae won with like 2 Judas effects, which was pretty That was pretty beast, to be honest. Like, I don't know if she clocked it for real, but it was good selling. It looked like she fucking knocked her out for real. But it was good stuff. But the one notable thing with Scandinavian Hurricane is she's now joined God's Eye. I saw this morning. She's in there, so it looks like she's sticking around for a little bit longer. I've liked what I've seen of her so far. She's doing good stuff. I think it's obviously a good fit, kind of being in there with Shirai and Konami and stuff when she's around. Kind of makes sense. What I think was the match of the night was Azumi versus Julia for the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. Yeah. I thought this was excellent. Probably the best strong women's match for Julia thus far. And yeah, just really good stuff. Azumi, I've been waiting for her to get kind of more of these big time singles matches on these pay-per-views that aren't kind of high-speed matches. Obviously, she had a very, very dominant reign as high-speed champion. So she's kind of exclusively been working those kind of matches. We're putting her in there with Julia. I thought this was awesome. I thought she absolutely held her own. And there was parts where the crowd were fully buying into it that Azumi was about to win. There were parts where I was with them, and I was kind of hoping that'd be the case because I think she's ready for this kind of opportunity. But it wasn't to be. But very hard hitting and a bit of a mix-up for Azumi in there with Julia. But this is definitely an exciting one.
Yeah, I thought this match was great. Julia's so awesome. Like, she's just like every time she wrestles, I'm like, wow. Like, I just can't. If you had asked me when she was an Ice Ribbon, if you had told me that she'd be like the best wrestler in Japan, and I'd be like, you're crazy. Like, there's no shot. But she is, in my opinion. I think there's nobody better than her in Joshi right now. This match was excellent. This was one of Azumi's, I thought, best matches ever. Really, I mean, it's simple story. You knew Julia was gonna like beat the shit out of her for most of the match. Essentially, talk down to her, treat her like she's less than and all that. And then Azumi has this great closing stretch. She's hitting all her big moves. She hits 2 destroyers into the Azumi Sushi, which is such a great near fall. Like, there's nobody who thinks Azumi is going to win, but she gets the near fall there. Really exciting. I thought this was definitely the match of the night, and I'm loving Julia in whatever context they have her in.
Yeah. If I assume you haven't caught the show.
No shot.
No. Yeah.
You think, if I'm not catching up with New Japan, I'm not catching. Stardom is not my cup of tea.
Yeah. I'm trying to make sure I don't forget anything major.
I
think the next major
women's wrestling related topic I'd like to get into after the Stardom talk.
Is it about Kyrie?
Yes.
All right. We'll put a pin in that for now. Continue, Jamie-san.
Okay. I'm trying to make sure I haven't forgot anything major. But I think the next major match was the Goddess title.
Yep. Yeah. Literally.
Wait. Quick Stardom question. Dave was kept saying some MMA fighter in one championship, some Swedish MMA fighter was showing up. Did she show up?
Bro, so Murph has been not listening to the pod, in case you're wondering when we were.
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
So yeah, no. So
I had to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. No. Yeah. There's a couple of shows ago when Alice Inc. kind of they play the vignette, and Dave, I can't remember the name, but Dave is convinced that this was some kind of legit champion, like a one championship fighter who's 18 or something like that.
I have no idea.
That sounded so fucking beast. God damn.
Yeah. That was Dave being Dave. That was
Well, he's a filthy Edro now, so who cares?
Yeah, he loves WWE so much. Anyway, yeah. So the next match was the Goddesses.
Yeah, so Aphrodite are back. Obviously, Utami's been out since kind of the middle to end portion of the 5-star GP. Saya was out from the first night, so obviously they came back a couple of shows before this, but this is their big kind of return, pay-per-view return. And the promotions needed them. There's been a lack of star power on a couple of these shows, and I mean this has injected that star power right back in. They were against Micah and Megan Bain, Divine Kingdom, who obviously won the Goddess of Stardom Tag League. They came out with the belts. They obviously declared themselves champions going in, but Aphrodite got the win here. It was pretty solid. I don't think it was anything too crazy. Obviously the Aphrodite still kind of getting back into it. I did enjoy Saya Kamatani. She mentioned that coming back from her injury, she was going to kind of switch up her style a little bit. after after the injury. I don't think she did. I think she's waffling.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Because I completely meant to start with the Korakuen show this time, by the way. But everything that she's done since coming back is like, no, it's just Saya.
She's waffling. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but yeah, I enjoyed this for what it was. As I said, it wasn't anything like blow away, mushy on the tag side kind of things. But it did bring, it got the belts onto Aphrodite, which is what I think everyone was expecting. Obviously, Mike has got big plans for Dream Queen, which we'll get to in a second. And Megan Bain, we've kind of touched on. It seems like her Stardom run's kind of coming to an end shortly. So this is the expected result. This is probably the right result. I look forward to these two. Leading into 2024, what they're going to do with those belts. I think there's a lot of great Stardom tag teams when everyone's back fit. Of course, I know a couple are out at the moment, but I think there's a lot of exciting matches that can be had here. And yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, I thought this match was kind of nothing. Actually, It was kind of disappointing because I obviously love Aphrodite, and I think both Utami and Saya have incredible chemistry with Micah. But this didn't really develop in anything like Megan. It was very Megan Bain centric. The story was that Aphrodite, like, even though Utami is incredibly powerful, like, even she needed help to put down the giant. But the most important part of this match was Aphrodite winning the titles. Like, that was like, even if the match didn't end up being that great, as long as they are the goddess champions, like, Stardom's recovering on a good path. After, Meltier were great champions and Cosmic Angels were great champions in general too. So putting these titles on another great team is the way to go after having to vacate. Go ahead.
Yeah, so then we get into the afterwards we had a match set up for Dream Queendom. Oedo Tai, Natsuko Tora, and Momo Watanabe came out and laid down the challenge. I forgot to mention a little earlier in the show, Soriano and Mirai were set up for Dream Queendom also, so we're getting that rematch from Gold Rush, which obviously ended in a draw. So it'll be interesting to see where they go with that one. But yeah, I mean, I would have preferred, in terms of like the match quality kind of things, for it to be Momo Watanabe and Starlight Kid. I don't know what they've got set up for Starlight Kid at Queendom. Obviously, we only have 3 matches set up as of now. But the Oedo Tai Queen's Quest thing was like the story of Stardom throughout the early portion of the year. It gave us what I think is the best Stardom match of the year, one of my favorite matches of the year altogether, in that big 6-on-6 cage match. And Natsuko Tora was absolutely a huge part of that. And I think she got good chemistry with Utami as well. So hopefully, that this one will be a good start for Aphrodite to get the ball rolling. But moving on into the main event of the show, we had Suzu Suzuki putting her 5-star Grand Prix red belt challenge rights on the line against Hazuki to decide who would face Micah in the main event of Dream Queendom, who obviously won the one-night Korakuen tournament, which we obviously didn't mention, but I would recommend checking out the match with Momo Watanabe, the final match of that, if you missed it. I think that was a great one for Micah. But yeah, this one was good. It didn't quite hit the levels that I think these two can have together. I think there's better matches between these two down the line, perhaps. But for what it was, I still thought it was pretty decent. I think it suffered. I think for the majority of the show, the crowd weren't super hot. We kind of touched on it before we went live. The Nagoya shows aren't often the most vocal, but I think it was pretty solid for what it was. A bit hard hitting action, nice suplexes, but that high speed action in there as you'd expect with these two. And then unsurprisingly, Suzuki gets the win. It was never in doubt. So the main event of Dream Queendom is official: Suzuki versus Micah for the vacant red belt. And I have some thoughts on what the direction should be going into this, because I think I know what they're going to do. But I think there's there's conversations to be had on what the direction should be, I think. But what you think of this one?
Yeah, just on the match itself, I think this was really solid, really enjoyable. Definitely nothing crazy. I was really surprised how short the last 3 matches were on this show. 13 minutes, 14 minutes, right? Main event on a Stardom pay-per-view, like, you expect 20 minutes minimum generally. Yeah. So it just felt like, oh wow, it's over. And also, like, I like Suzu's, I like the German, like, her finisher's a German, obviously. I think it's kind of a weak finisher sometimes. Yeah. And so when she hits it on somebody who's established as like Hazuki, it like sometimes doesn't feel like it should win. So it's like, oh wow, it's over. But yeah, I mean, the action itself super solid, exactly what you would expect based on this matchup. And I'm glad Suzu won. I'm really looking forward to this red belt match, and I'm definitely looking forward to what you think, what you're thinking about the direction.
Yeah, so I'm pretty torn on the direction. I think there's a few different points for both Suzu and Maika. One of Suzu's points is the one that I think is the hardest to argue against, and it's why I think Suzu's gonna win. If obviously Dave Meltzer is to be believed with his report that Suzu was meant to beat Tam at Gold Rush in November, then I think Suzu probably should win, because I think not giving her the title here is punishing her for something that's not got nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? Which, you know, she obviously looked very frustrated at the press conference, and I feel like now pulling the rug out of it under her and giving the belt to Maika would be pretty harsh. But and then also just going into 2024, we've talked about it feeling like a new era under new management. Suzu is obviously one of the newest Stardom signees, and she's been like a breath of fresh air being around full time. So I think giving it to her is kind of the most the biggest indication of that new era. However, the point for Maika, which is what I want to kind of get into, because as the weeks have gone on, I've been kind of swayed to the other side of this discourse. Maika right now is the most over person on the roster, bar perhaps Mai Sakurai, who's in a realm of her own, which is, yeah, that's a different topic of conversation.
Different kind of over.
Yeah. But, and, you know, obviously, we talked about before, she's had countless opportunities at kind of the red belt and the white belt. It feels right now like Suzu, obviously, and Suzu's so young. I feel like if she loses here, she'll be back in red belt contention in no time, right? You know, I don't think it harms her too much, other than the kind of the disappointment that comes with not getting what we should have got, right? Maika feels like this is the hottest she's ever been. If she loses to Suzu here, she's lost twice. So I don't see how they get to a trilogy unless she, you know, they build up a different kind of storyline perhaps for it. And yeah, I just think obviously when we watched the 5-star match, the crowd were chanting for Maika, and I do worry. I think the crowd were also chanting for Hazuki pretty loudly in this Nagoya match. I worry that they may not be as enthused with the Queendom main event result if they go with what is kind of seeming like it's going to be planned. So I think it would be so harsh on Suzu to not give her this moment, but I just think in terms of creating the best moments for what is the climax of the biggest show of the year for Stardom, I think giving the moment to Maika is what would create that moment the best. What do you think?
I'm really interested in what they end up doing with this, and I obviously I'm fine with it either way. Like, but love both of these wrestlers. Think they're both incredible. Think they're both the future. I will not be disappointed either way. I'm still on Team Suzu. I think overall, I think she's just so. I think she is transcendent to a level that Maika isn't. Maika is fantastic. Maika is incredible. She is one of the best wrestlers on the roster, and she has grown so much since joining, 3-4 years ago. I think Suzu is on another level. I think Suzu is one that's like, wow, she's like the face of a promotion.
I have not watched enough Stardom to really form an opinion, but I'm just gonna say let's roll with Maika, because it'll make my good pal Paps happy. So we'll roll with Maika.
Yeah.
My other thought is this: I definitely understand the idea that you strike when the iron's hot. It was exactly what I was talking about with like Waka Tsukiyama earlier in the year. And we saw what they did with with that. With that being said, I also think there is value in extending Maika's case just a little bit more. I think there is money to be made out of it. I think it's interesting. I think I always come back to Naito at Wrestle Kingdom. What was it?
Parker, I'm going to need to pause you right there. So, this is a timed bit. We have very little time to do this. But I was been told some troubling things. I've been told that Kairi forgot to wrestle. And you see, Kairi's my favorite women's wrestler ever. So, I think I can help her. I have a place for you to go, Kairi. It's called Full Sail University. And it's free. They will teach you to work. at Full Sail University. You can learn in that building right over there. You can learn how to work with less fans.
Oh my god!
So Kyrie, come to Full Sail.
Murph, you got to find out what happened to Trick. I gotta know.
Let's go look.
Be careful in that. Be careful in there.
Look out! These
Dangerous around there, man.
Whoop that Trick! Yeah, whoop that Trick.
This is like the hardest I've ever laughed on this podcast.
Wait, one more screen grab for everyone at home. Okay.
You never know who's lurking around Full Sail, man. The guards just might come and get you.
Look out for Lex's King. You know he knows where you are because he watches the pod, dude. He's gonna get you.
I can tell you this. I drove to the performance center first, but there's a security guard out front, and I didn't want to be like. I didn't want them to think I was like a stalker or some shit. So
you should have said you were like a trainee.
Yo, what's up, bro? I'm Brian. Yeah, but what's it called? I tried to go to the performance center first, but I couldn't. So, Full Sail was like 5-10 minutes away, so I just drove over. It's the commitment to the bit. You just got to get the bit done.
That was such a good bit, Murph. That was good.
Jade,
Murph, you're
comes once
2
a
weeks
week on Sundays.
Yeah.
You should have walked in there and claimed you were Brogan Finley, and just see what happens.
Yeah, nobody would have known. You are that's 2 weeks in a row you've done an incredible bit on this pod. Like that's
I got another one in me.
Okay, all right. I'll leave you to it then.
But yeah, so I'm sorry to interrupt your Stardom discussion.
No,
but
it was worth it. It was definitely worth it. Okay, so on Suzu and Micah, I think back to Naito in Wrestle Kingdom. I think it was 11, right? Whichever one it was, 2018, when he wins the G1. Oh, by the way, like a classic match against Omega to win that G1. And everybody's like, yeah, it's his time. Finally, he's going to get it. You know what I mean? And then he doesn't. And then he loses. And I would say, all things considered, that worked out incredibly well for everybody involved. Okada ended up having the best world title run in modern history. Naito ended up winning it. It was just 2 years later. Like, it wasn't like, some crazy like decade-long storyline at Wrestle Kingdom in another instant classic. It was my match of the year 2020. And so now I'm not saying you do that all the time. I'm not saying you do that every time. But I think if the person you're trying to overcome is as good as Suzu is, and I think she is incredible. I'm also like, it sucks because I'm such a big Micah fan. I just have more like career investment as a fan in Suzu than I do with Micah. I've seen Suzu since literally her debut match. And I've been a fan of her, like a big fan of her since very early on when I realized, oh my God, she's going to be really good. And I just know how exciting it was when she won the Ice Cross Infinity Championship at the age of 18 and had an excellent reign. And now I'm like, wow, okay, she's going to win the most important title in Japanese women's wrestling, potentially all of women's wrestling. And for me, being such a fan of Suzu, that's so hard to turn down. I don't know about, I'm not a big person who's like, do what the money says or whatever, because that's not how I consume wrestling. I'm still Team Suzu. I will not be disappointed if Micah wins. I think if we're talking about who like deserves it, like there are like 10 women on the roster who all deserve it right now, right? But you can only have one champion, and I think there is more you can do with Micah. I do disagree with the idea that if Micah loses here, like she's done for or something like that. Like I just don't. I don't think that's what you're saying or anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just about how they follow up with it, which is my
for sure
my main concern. I think there's absolutely the potential that Micah loses here, and then they build a great story where she comes back to it or stuff like that. She could even win the next year's 5-star if they want. I mean, I think that's probably Sai Kamatani, but and obviously if she loses, also it could play into like it seems like they've been teasing a bit more of a heel turn for Micah, like a more definitive mean streak for her. This could kind of solidify it post this match. But I mean, we'll see. Hopefully, in whatever direction they go with it, they kind of have a bit of a long-term plan, and they know how to keep the stock for both women involved at its highest.
I think you can do some, and I'm not a fantasy booker, but I think you can do some big angle in this show. I shake up the stables in some way, right? Maybe DDM comes out to comfort Micah after losing, and Micah just goes berserk on him, and just and she's crazy. I think you can absolutely do something like that. You can have Suzu win and claim she's holding the belt hostage or something, right? And that she's not a Stardom, she's an outsider, and she's doing, kind of the Jake Lee storyline, but with more interesting characters than Anthony Green. So I think that would be a good way to do that. It adds that extra bit of intrigue and oomph to the to the storyline that you want when the two people wrestling are not two of your probably 5 biggest stars, at least in terms of company standing. I know Micah is insanely over right now. So I do want to briefly talk about the Corkin show as well,
yes.
Which I completely blew past. But this was, I thought, actually a better show than the pay-per-view the other day. And it was mostly due to the tournament, as well as the 6-man tag in the semi-main event, which I thought was a really great short little time limit draw too. So I thought both of the semi matches were really good considering their length. Momo and Mina have such great chemistry. They're just two random wrestlers that it's they're good wrestlers, right? But sometimes two wrestlers come together and it's wow, how do these two have such great chemistry together? So they were great there. And then Micah, dominant win over Soray in the other semi that I thought was really effective too. Any thoughts on those real quick?
I think the Micah match, I think it's one of Soray's best matches in her career, to be honest.
Wow.
I know, not everyone that I speak to is as high on her as some others, but I think she's got potential. She's obviously not the most experienced on the roster, but she's getting there.
I love Soray. I think she's great, by the way. Yeah.
But I think she had a really, really great performance in this one. And super dominant. And then again, completely agree on what you said with Momo and Mina when they announced that one. I was definitely looking forward to it because I've seen those two have great matches before, and they absolutely delivered once again. And then the final, of course, Micah and Momo, I thought was excellent. We'll go on.
Well, yeah, just very quickly, let's talk about the 6-man tag. Because I thought it was super entertaining. They go above and beyond on Korakuen. Stardom and Korakuen have been so great this year. There's always some intriguing stuff happening, and this was a great match to set up obviously the tag title match, but of course there was Suzu was in there as well, and it was just 6 great wrestlers going all out for 15 minutes, really hot crowds, and that's why Korakuen has been so great for Stardom. If there was, I would say, one thing that you can maybe criticize Stardom above all is that for whatever reason the crowds just aren't that loud or invested a lot of the time. Korakuen never has that problem, so I thought this was a really good tag.
Yeah, great stuff. I mean, it's obviously, I touched on it when we reviewed the pay-per-view. It's great to see Aphrodite back in there, especially alongside Azumi. And I think everyone in there had a really great showing. I saw a comment, I can't remember who mentioned it before, but Saya and Suzu mixing her up in there, I think, is a bit of a glimpse into a future red belt match, especially obviously if Suzu wins a queendom. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
So
completely agree.
Yeah. So I definitely could see that being the case as well. And I think it'd be great if it ends up being the case. But the main event, Micah sealed her slot in the red belt match against Momo Watanabe. This was about as heated as any Stardom match has been all year. This is I'm sure there were a lot of people watching this match who kind of felt like you did, Jamie, and were like, oh man, maybe Micah should win this thing. You know what I mean? Because she was so over, and Momo is such a great heel. Both incredible wrestlers. I thought this was a super, super way to finish out this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely love these two. I think two of the most underrated wrestlers in general across the worldwide in any kind of women or anything. I think Micah is now kind of getting her shine. Obviously, she's getting the big main event spot, but Momo Watanabe consistently delivers whenever she's given the opportunity to. I think back to like the 5-star final with Shirai. It's one of my favorite Stardom matches of all time. I think whenever she's kind of given the spot, she always delivers. Since turning heel, actually, she's gotten even better. And yeah, just super hard hitting as you'd expect. Obviously Micah throwing huge lariats, Momo with some of those brutal kicks in the game, and then as we kind of all expected, Micah gets the big win, sets up what's going to be the biggest match of her career, and just brought to an end, as you said, what was a really, really great Korakuen show. And I would also agree that this was probably better than the pay-per-view that we led into. Just like I said, those Korakuen crowds, man, they no one quite does it like Korakuen Hall. But yeah, this was really great stuff.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about Stardom wise, or are we good to move on here?
No, I think the last kind of thing I'd touch on is the kind of direction headed into Queendom. Obviously, we have those 3 matches that we talked about, but obviously there's still some big names on the shelf, but also some big names who I kind of have no idea what the direction is for. So I'd be interested to see what kind of things they've got for, like, May Sarah with the high speed title. What are we doing with the artist belts? What's Shirai going to do? What's Julie going to do? Is Mayu going to be back? These kind of things. Obviously, I imagine we'll have a press conference pretty soon, setting stuff up in regards to that. But it'd be interesting to see what your thoughts are on kind of what other matches we could be seeing, because I think it's pretty kind of unpredictable at the moment.
I'm sorry, Jamie. I just checked the WrestlePurist chat, and Murph sent, bro, I just got jumped. and then Chris, bless his heart, is like, "Are you okay?" And he was like, "Yeah, I was just trying to look for Trick."
Yeah, whoop that Trick. Yeah, whoop that Trick. I like it. Oh
God. Oh, Murph, you're perfect. You add to this show greatly. You make me happy. Okay. All right. So yeah, we got the direction heading into Dream Queendom. I am more enthused about the product than I was a couple weeks ago when everybody was getting injured and it was like, we don't know anything that's going to happen. I think this was the correct choice for the two who are going to end up being in that main event. I think you definitely agree with me, Jamie. And they're making good decisions. Correct goddess champions, correct people in the world title match. 2 of the most important things that needed to be resolved this week. So looking forward to their big shows coming up. Okay, let's switch gears. Let's stay in the Joshi realm, and we're actually going to talk a little TJPW right now. A little TJP.
Seriously?
Yeah, some guy live talking about TJPW.
Yeah, they deserve. Listen, I don't. Just because I don't like a promotion,
we just lose all our
can't.
viewers right there.
No, we got the freaks in there. They're there. They like it. There's only a couple, and hey, even the people who don't like TJPW, they want to hear us talk about it because they know we're gonna like be kind of passive aggressive about it. So yeah. Anyway, so this Friday was TJPW's 10th anniversary show at Korakuen Hall. It was also notable as Yuka Sakazaki's final match as a tenured roster member for the promotion as she moves to AEW. I don't have much to report about the undercard. Like, some of the reviews on these matches are pretty good. I think it was pretty fucking middling overall. Like, I didn't think the tag title match was very good. I actually thought Viva Van was okay in this like Singapore title match or whatever, but it wasn't anything crazy. Wakana Uehara won the Next Generation tournament, which makes sense. She's obviously the one that they've pushed the hardest in that class, that with like Himawari and Toga and Runa and Shino and all those people. But the big story from here is the main event. 2 out of 3 falls, 10-man tag match. All right. And it is the old guard, Yuka, Mizuki, Yamashita, Rika, and Shoko, against the future, Yuki Arai, Miyu Watanabe, Suzume Arisu Endo, and Moka Miyamoto. I thought this match was unbelievable. I thought this match was incredible. easily the best TJPW match of the year. Best one in a long time. One of the best matches in company history. Jamie, you watched this one too?
Yeah, I did. I would absolutely agree. The best thing I've seen from the promotion all year. When I saw the match announcement, I love the concept. You know, kind of on paper as it is. You know, kind of a old guard versus the new guard. You know, not everyone in the match is like my absolute favorite wrestler, but there are definitely some names in this that I was excited to see mix it up in there. And we got a lot of great interactions between those. I mean, I think Aris Endo came out of this looking like a huge deal. I think it was kind of evident the company, hopefully, are going to invest in her a little bit more long term. I think she got some really nice highlight moments in this. Miyu Yamashita and Miyu Watanabe, I think I've had probably the best interactions in this match in terms of a one-on-one kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, everyone got their moments to shine. Just kind of a really great, really great atmosphere, really great vibes kind of match, and yeah, just really enjoyable stuff. I think, as I said, everyone got their moments, and just a very wholesome kind of 5-on-5 match here.
Yeah, I thought it was just a great classic combination of really excellent wrestling. The nice thing about having a team of the old guard is that they're all great. They're all great. So anytime they're in, like, there's never a moment where there isn't at least one great wrestler in the match. Endo got that pin on Shoko early on, and it was like so exciting. I'm such a fan of Arisu Endo getting that pin. She's one of my favorites in the company, but they've just been so hesitant to actually have her do anything, even though they obviously like are aware that she's a good wrestler, but they just have been really hesitant to pull the trigger on her doing anything. So I was really happy about that. Lots of drama, lots of back and forth at the very end. The final fall was really, really strong. It was 10 minutes long, and then the closing stretch with Miyu pinning Miyu with an awesome heel kick. It was just, like Yamashita has that great finish, obviously, but she just hit it flush. You heard the impact. It was great. I thought this was one of the best Joshi tag matches of the year. This is, I think, and genuinely, some people might be shocked at this. I think it's up there with the Oedo versus Queen's Quest cage match from earlier in the year. Just great stuff. This is like what I like out of TJPW, right? Everything in wrestling has to come down to the in-ring action. TJPW, even though I think their storytelling chops are vastly overstated and overrated, they still do know how to tell stories sometimes. But it does, none of those stories matter to me in a wrestling context unless the wrestling is really good too. And so the fact that they were actually able to do that,
promotion, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so that they were that. Yeah.
You don't like the fucking cat girl? Like
the cat and the owl. The cat and the owl team.
You don't like fucking Mahiro Kiryu?
I don't know what she does. She may as well be the green man from WWE 2K13 or whatever, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know. And it was weird when they had her be in a tag team with like Yuki Kamifuku for a while. I was like, I don't really know about that, friends. But
not too much on Team Toyo University. They had a good thing going.
So yeah, anyway, I thought this was an awesome main event. I'm really glad that they were able to do that. It was a really fitting send-off for Yuka. So yeah, guess we'll look forward to seeing what she does in the States coming forward. Not much to report on DO Grand Prix. There was Endo. What was it? Tetsuya Endo versus another pretty big. Versus Harashima this week. So obviously that's like a rematch of, I think, a Judgment main event, I want to say. So I mean that's a pretty big match. It was in Shinjuku face, so it's like, but I didn't watch it. Not much to report. Jamie, you said that you saw Yuki Ino this week, and you were as impressed with him as I was.
I actually did as well.
I'm all in.
Did you? You saw him too, Murph?
What the fuck happened to Yuki Ino?
That's what I'm saying. Murph and I would like make fun of this guy because he was such like a shitter, or even before Pheromones.
In the old days, he was in Takeshita's stable All Out, and he would do this like dumb haka gimmick, and it was just like the worst shit like you've ever seen in your life. Like it was so
I'm like-
bad.
I'm laughing because before the show, I was like, Jamie was talking to me when we were waiting in here about watching Eno, and I like you said what I said practically
Yeah.
word for word.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was pretty great. Murph, we're
It
so
was like
aligned
the
a lot of
worst
the time.
shit. They'd try to make people laugh, and like people wouldn't even like do any. Like it was so bad.
Like, that's exactly what I said to him.
Yeah.
That's so good.
I'm having deja vu over here.
Yeah. It was bad. It was bad. So okay.
Oh, that was a
So,
weird stable, all out, bro. Like what the fuck?
yeah.
That was
Well,
weird ass
it was Takeshita, Ino, Katsumata, and who else?
I don't think Katsumata was in it.
Wasn't he? Or was it Mao?
I don't think either were in it. I think it was like 4 other like random guys.
No, there was someone. Hold on, now I'm curious. Yeah, Katsumata was in it, and Akito was the other one.
Akito, that's who it was.
Yeah, but
The weirdest
Katsumata was
shit is-
definitely in it.
Disaster box. That shit will never go away.
Disaster.
Like, what a
Box.
random stable. A fucking disaster box.
I liked Nautilus. Nautilus was good.
Nautilus
All right. Yeah. Okay. So obviously kind of slowing down. I was glad that we were able to fill out some stuff talking about the NOAH booking implications and looking forward to Stardom a little bit. It's good stuff today. Good stuff today. But
We went to Full Sail. You know, that was fun.
we went to Full Sail. We nearly solved the mystery of Trick. Keep us posted.
I'll go back.
But in
next
the
week.
meantime,
Or actually,
it is our
I'll do something else next week.
cool. It's Piece of the Week time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that time. It's that time. Jamie, kick us off.
Okay, my beast of the week. I'm gonna shock you here, but I'm gonna go with the Stardom wrestler. It's unsurprising. I'm gonna go with Azumi, who, as I kind of touched on before, had one of her best singles outings thus far. Pretty much repeating what I said earlier. She's mainly been doing the high speed stuff for the last forever, and now she's kind of getting into more kind of bigger singles title matches. And she absolutely delivered with Julia. Obviously, Julia is one of the best opponents you can have in there to give you a great match. But I think she held her own, and I think she'll probably be back for this strong title sooner rather than later. And I just thought she absolutely lived up to this one. And so my beast of the week is Azumi.
I am going to go with a fucking TJPW wrestler. And there were a few that I was thinking of. I was thinking about both of the Miyus because I think they were overall the best wrestlers in that match, just in terms of their contributions and everything. But for me, the moment of the match was Endo getting that pin on Shoko. I was so happy when I saw that. I went in completely unspoiled. I didn't know anything that was going to happen. I was like, that's awesome. Like when you watch something and it's like that's immediately the biggest moment of somebody's career, you're like, okay, that's really cool. So for pinning one of their top stars, one of the old guards, Shoko Nakajima, my beast of the week is Arisu Endo.
Love it.
For collective, can we do Monster Sauce as collective?
I'm down with
They're
that.
pretty beast.
Yeah, it's fun by me.
No issues here.
Okay, Monster Sauce. I'm parking real quick so I can turn my camera on for this because I have a good one today.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it Sammy Guevara or Jungle Jack Perry?
You see, I was thinking about that, but no. Put some lights.
All right, what do you got?
In 1990, Frank DeFord said that Dave Meltzer was the next big thing in sports journalism. I can tell you that Dave Meltzer has been surpassed. There is a man with bravery, fearlessness, that has really just transcended sports journalism. And man is Ibrahim Yang, also known as the fucking backup hangman. He is my beast of the week. Also, because he had the funniest video I've ever seen in my life last Thursday on Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah, the Thanksgiving video. It was so good.
That's the real reason is I was laughing so hard at the dinner. I was dying fucking laughing when he cooked his ankle. Because, he's just fun to, but he's our pal. Our pal Ibu is the next big thing in journalism. So my beast of the week is Ibu.
Ibu. Wow, that is a great choice, Murph. You're cooking right now. You're heat checking, and you haven't missed yet. I'm very impressed by your contributions. So, our beasts of the week. I make this joke every week, but it's particularly funny this week. This would be a great stable. Azumi, Risuendo, Monster Sauce, and Ibu of Wrestle Purists.
Yes. Is Ibu the first? Is he the first Wrestle Purist, team member to receive a Beast of the Week?
Oh yeah, you gave it to Chris one time, didn't you? Yeah.
Oh yeah,
because Chris replied to Ibu with grabs, balls, and squeeze, and I thought that was the funniest shit ever, so I gave it to Chris.
It's just
what are the? Oh, that just made me laugh just thinking about it. It's just in response to like something completely like unimportant. Grabs balls and squeezes. Oh man, I laughed a lot on this show. I don't usually laugh that much on this show, but y'all really made this enjoyable for me, so I greatly appreciate it. Hey, our viewership was consistently really high today too. So thank you all so much for tuning in. We really, really appreciate it. I think you guys can tell we love doing this show. I've done a lot of wrestling content creation things over the last few years. I don't tend to stay in one place for very long because I get bored. But this is easily the most fun I've ever had making wrestling content. So I really appreciate you guys listening and tuning in every week. The loyalists like Portuguese Friend, IDK, Anwar, Anjan, people like that, Matt B, all those people. It's really, really cool. So we appreciate it. So Adam 6. Wait a minute.
Branovan. Also tune in to WP Face Off going up next. I think they're talking WWE.
Yes, we will have Face Off up next.
But if you want to see Ibu try and be Stephen A. Smith, which is really funny, watch Face Off.
Okay, everybody, that's going to do it for us today. We will be back next week. We'll have Tag League results. We should have a little bit more of a clarity around the Stardom end of year show as well. DDT updates, All Japan updates, all that type of stuff. We will be back next week. All right. So for Jamie, for Murphy-O, this is going to do it for us. Stay dumb.